Why? Because we can. Hey guys, what's going on? Memes here, and I'm joined by an who's a Maki thingamabobber?
I'm a Mataratsu.
That one. You all know what
Yeah.
that means.
Oh, I know I should be wary. Still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose.
It's showtime!
Hey guys, what's going on? Memes here, and yes, Halloween is in the air. You may dare, but just be wary. Things can get scary. What say you, Fizz?
Very scary.
Very scary. And I do like that outfit. Have you had it washed since last year?
No.
Okay. Well, that's probably about the same as my shirt and everything as I cover up my highly shiny forehead as I'm adjusting to the light in the room and everything. But it's okay. It's okay. We do what we can, so we can do what we want to do.
Yeah. I just don't want it to lose its fluffiness.
See, that is true. A lot of things like you get like a nice fursuit or something, and it's all nice and fluffy and soft, and then a convention or something happens, and I'm wondering why there's so many used fursuits out there. I have no idea.
But same thing. Don't know how to wash that and preserve its
Dry
Yes.
cleaning. I think that. Oh my God! I forgot to turn up the gamma on my laptop. Oh, look at that! It actually starts to do its job then. But today we're going to be talking about some scary stories and stuff like that. Things that may be a wee bit spooky out there because nobody does that. And I know that you, by proxy of Piper, obviously like Halloween. I think Piper was a zombie last night or something.
Yeah, she was a zombie kid.
I mean, that would explain a lot personally, but then again, hey, who the heck am I to judge? I'm a weirdo on here with a Monster Girl co-host. I would conjecture perhaps the best Monster Girl co-host on the internet. I stand by that claim. But so, Fizz, did you have any particular stories, tales of the past, anything you wanted to share with the good folks?
I was wondering, are we telling scary stories?
We can do that.
Because I got one that happened. It's a real story.
Please.
But it's very, very scary. Prepare yourself.
Okay. Folks, it's now entering. Hey, Joe, what's going on? Joe likes your costume.
Thank you.
That's my patrons, Joe Franco, Dave M. Oh, God. I forget all the last bit. Oh, God. It's, God, I forget all these. I am so. The T Carr. I've known him for so long. Wow. All right. After that boomerism, story time with Fizz.
Okay, so once upon a time, I guess, this morning, Piper had a coffee at her desk, but then she got sleepy.
Oh no.
When she woke up, ants.
No, not ants.
I know, it's scary.
Oh my God.
It's really funny. I told you it's a scary story.
So, now I have no idea what you're talking about. I totally didn't run for my coffee, which is why we were partially delayed. I also had to use the little memes as room. But, I mean, those things go hand in hand, the coffee and the stuff. And so Fizz, it sounds like what you're saying is earlier on this morning, our good friend Miss Piper, she was drinking her coffee. She perhaps was a wee bit tired because, well, tiredness and Piper and Night Owl and all that jazz go together.
Yeah.
And then she may or may not have spilled some stuff and things and woke up covered in ants, which are one of her greatest fears because she was swarmed with them while locked in the car seat while she was 2 years old.
Well, the good news is it's not that bad. So she didn't spill any coffee. What she did was leave the cup, and she technically drank all the coffee in it, but she left the mug on the desk.
Oh.
And had no idea there was gonna be ants. There's traps everywhere in this place. Whether we need them or not, there's a crap ton. But she had done a little bit of work in and was like, basically, I guess the coffee didn't work. Holy shit.
The coffee didn't work. It was faulty.
Yep, the coffee didn't do its job, so she slept. But then when she woke up, she seen that coffee mug was now ants.
It was a summoning jutsu for a whole bunch of ants that were like, nom 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 nom.
No idea where the hell they came from, but there were so many ants, and she's actually like extra worried because she saw some going in and out of the external hard drive.
What? Oh no.
Yeah.
Wait. You're saying that Piper might have bugs in her hard drive?
There might be some ants in there now. Because she was she had to try to kill the ants, but at the same time, it's the desk. So there's like a bunch of electronics that the ants are like, walking all over to get to the coffee. So yeah. So like she had the dilemma of like, battling the ants but not hurting her electronics.
How did that go?
Oh, a lot are dead.
Okay.
But and they're not a swarm anymore because she took the coffee cup away. She actually threw that. She threw that away. She threw it in the trash.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're talking about the thing that's literally, it's why are these ants here? Because they detect the scent of your sweet, sweet Joe.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
She didn't even try to save it. She's just like, nah. She threw that away.
I can't drink from this mug again.
All she'll think about is the ants that were on it. And now her skin crawls like crazy all day long.
I can imagine. So it's a good thing that she's not watching this at all right now, because she would likely be terrified and still have wriggly skin from all her little friends that she was just sharing a little bit of sweetness with, accidentally, of course. But
now she thinks they're trying to ruin her. They're in her hard drive and she doesn't know what to do because she already freaked out and knocked it over.
Well, I mean that's. I'm actually surprised nothing was completely broken immediately, because I see that response and just knowing Piper's luck that the hard drive would get flung, it would go around, and then it would like end up like shattering on some pokey thing, and then it'd be like, oh no, and.
But the good news is Piper's not allowed to be around pokey things anymore. So there's that.
That's I would agree with that. It's you don't want to be accidentally impaled by things.
I actually I really wish that was just a funny joke. Our friends have intervened. There's not many pokey things.
I mean, those sound like good friends, just because it's the last thing you want to do. It's like, what are you in the hospital for? Being clumsy.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised. And so is she. We're kind of surprised that they haven't come in with like those baby bumper things that you put on the corner of furniture.
I mean, I'm not opposed to those personally.
Right? Like she would not be surprised if she found some of those like in her under the Christmas tree or something.
Rubber baby buggy bumpers or something.
Basically, yeah.
Put them all there. Just like here's just like a big foam thing, just at every single corner. Just anything that no right angles allowed.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of sounds like there. But I don't know. I just feel like that story reminded me of just Piper's fear of ants combined with Indiana Jones's fears of snakes. What about ants on a plane? Like, not a few ants, a lot of ants. Like the net weight of humans and ants.
Bro,
That would be a lot.
that plane going down. I think
It's,
the whole
I mean,
plane would go down.
yeah, well, I'm just thinking about that, and we saw how effed up things got with snakes and everything, and just imagine if all of a sudden you're out there and they're like, "Yeah, hey, we got some ants, and ants can get in places that snakes can't
Yeah,
because they're
exactly.
usually little, unless they're the big murder ants. That's a little harder, but then they're more murder anty.
Oh my gosh, that'd be probably worse. Let's see, how would this have to go? This would have to be a plane that has not had all of its 2,000 parts inspected in a while. And a whole ant colony managed to get on there and proliferate like crazy.
They could like
And
eat the insulation. That's how people wouldn't notice because they're like netting out after a while.
yeah, and it manages to do all this between like detailed inspections and all of the bad results of their damage all happen on one flight. And and it's got to be like a like over the ocean kind of flight, like one of them long ones. Uh, and then first it starts like the electronics start finally being affected, and then the ants start coming out because food.
Food sparks fire. It makes
Yeah.
them come out. Perhaps these ants have developed a little bit of a taste for something soft and chewy. Are humans soft and chewy?
Uh, some of them.
A little.
Are we talking like mutant ants? Or I was sitting here trying to find out how that situation could like potentially really happen.
Oh, I could totally see. Well, the way it would usually happen is you would have like some supply, and then you have some like rare ant or something like that get in, and maybe they just come back from like a sugar place, and then they had landed, and then just so many ants went there, and then they ate the sugar, and then they were offsetting it and everything, and then somebody got lazy, took a nap, they didn't really inspect it, and then the ants kind of just went to hibernate. Maybe it could be, I don't know, some rare kind of ant where it's kind of like the movie like Arachnophobia, except instead of having like the general spider come and then mate with the other one, you could kind of have, well, basically the same thing. You just kind of like maybe have like the queen go there and she could start it, and then it would just kind of like
Yeah.
happen, and then
Slips
like,
in
oh,
on something and manages to stay in this particular plane and go unnoticed for a good while until there's just way too many of them in this one unlucky flight. That is definitely Spirit Airlines.
no.
I was trying to figure out what airliner would not
No, no,
notice,
no.
would go the longest without
Listen,
inspecting their
listen.
shit.
This is a totally fictional story. Personally, I also avoid Spirit Airlines because at
Yeah.
one point I was going with like Xmas names down to like Disney World. It's like that she found out it was the cheapest flight. I looked at the reviews. I'm like, at the time I was considering starting a family, that extra like $170 to save versus statistical likelihood of something terrible, I paid the extra $170.
That's probably a good idea. Or Malaysian Air for whatever reason.
Wow, Big Air is going to come after us. Watch out, Fizz.
Actually, this story sounds like it could be. This is what happens in the missing plane. The ants ate it. The ants ate it and everything in it. The end.
Oh, that's terrible. People, oh my God, that actually is a potentially plausible scenario. I mean, at one point, I'm like,
Right.
it's going over the Pacific. I'm like thinking Godzilla. It's terrible tragedy. I just remember CNN former host Don Lemon was like, "You think it was a black hole?" I'm like, probably not. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We won't be on that. But I'm just like, wait a second. Now, if ants actually got into something, and they were to eat some of the controls, could that cause a cab depressurization? Because I think that's what had happened with Malaysian Air, according to some folks. I
Well, the
forget if
problem
they ever
is
found the.
the problem is for the missing one, it's still all speculation because the first mystery is still the weird flight path that made no sense. But maybe that flight path would make sense if they were having so much trouble controlling the plane because ants.
I
Then that would kind of
oh,
make sense.
I okay. Full disclosure: when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I went down to visit grandma in Florida. As we were down there, I noticed these really big hills of sand, larger than what we have up here in the Northeast. So then
Oh.
I got the smart idea to I'm gonna kick this thing over because I'm a kid
Oh
and I
no.
destroy
Oh
things.
no.
And then I proceeded to kick it, and then I learned what fire ants were.
Yep. That would do
I'm
it.
like, where did I all come from? Oh, oh, oh.
That
Okay, I
was
feel like
it. That was what I was left in because they usually have such obvious ant hills. But apparently, sometimes they don't have very obvious ant hills, but it can still hold a crap ton of fire ants, and that's how Piper got set in a fire ant hill, uh, without them realizing that they set her there. Is because it wasn't a big mound of dirt.
yes, it was still a geyser of fire ants, though.
But yep.
Oof. Oh, see, again, I feel like this explains a lot about just everything and stuff like that because I remember the first time you were sharing that story with me, and it's like, yeah, Piper's really afraid of ants. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, did did she have a bad experience or something? It's like now that you mention it, it's like, oh,
There might
that
be a
was a
connection
horrific.
there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just like, and thus it brings me to I don't know. Was Professor Sigmund Freud more than just somebody doing a lot of cocaine and talking about people's moms? Was there more of a connection? All I remember is he was a really smart guy that people talk about his stuff. Some of this stuff kind of made sense, and then he started getting really weird. And I remember starting to feel very uncomfortable at the time. And I'm just like, okay, it's probably just me. And then I realized, wait, maybe that's what Dude Man was kind of saying about things. And again, hashtag not all, but I tend to think a lot of folks are products of their environment and all the other
Oh yeah.
things that are going on around them.
Oh, they definitely are. They've done studies with twins since then to find out how much is nature and how much is nurture, how much is environmental and how much is genetic. Uh, that's it's been pretty sweet, pretty cool. He was right about a lot of stuff. What I think about you humans is that the problem is, um, the more brilliant someone's mind is, the more of a thinky kind of person they are, the more the world seems to just like drive them batshit at the same time. So they tend to be very eccentric, bad habits, and this and that. And a lot of them are specifically because it's like their brain is working overtime all the time, but that's how they are come up with stuff is because while other people are like doing normal people shit, they're just like thinking. They're like, and their thoughts are intrusive and they keep them up at night, but they think and think, and sometimes act on it, and they figure out really cool shit. That's most brilliant humans are weird as fuck in some way. And if it's not a mental thing, sometimes they're weird as fuck as a physical thing.
I
But
say that.
but generally they're weird as fuck in some way, and sometimes they're just weird as fuck in really bad ways, and some are just weird and fuck in weird as fuck ways. But that's what separates. Like that's one of the things is like. Now your general crackhead on the side of the road might sound, might seem like they're not brilliant. But
You also
a brilliant
don't know where it's
person,
coming
yeah,
from,
a brilliant person can end up like that. They're more likely to self-medicate.
Well, the funny, yes. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna say it sucks. I can't say what it does. Personally, I like different. I mean, imagine everybody's shocked at the dude wearing a yellow level up shirt with a Monster Girl co-host, no offense, sunglasses and a bandana. Makes things a wee bit different. But
here's what's nice. Here's what's nice about, quote unquote normal. Ignorance is bliss. Like, I know that they said that line in that movie, but that's always been the case. Dumb people are happier. Generally, they are generally happier with life.
You don't need a. Well, here's the thing: the more you know, the more you might have to worry about and everything. If you just focus on the simpler things, that's why it's
and dumb is not exactly. I don't mean dumb as in get a load of this dumbass, but I mean more like they're not worrying about thinking about things. They're worried about when they're getting Starbucks next. Their problems are smaller in comparison only because, they could have some of the same problems, but the reason their problems are smaller is because their brains are not on overdrive, overthinking every problem. They're easier to just go with it, or they think what they're told to think. And that's easy. It is so much easier to think and repeat what you're told to think and repeat than it is to concentrate harder, think deeper, investigate more. It is easier, so it's happier. Yeah.
Well, actually, that's pretty fantastic because it's funny you mentioned that, because hold on, we can share this, because what were you just saying about repetition?
Repetition is much easier to just Jesus.
Repetition renders the ridiculous reasonable.
Yeah. Yep. That's if you repeat it, especially if that's your upbringing. If your upbringing is, I guess, quote unquote, super normal, your family is like the stereotypical normal family. So therefore, you're like the stereotypical normal kids, stuff like that. Then you're probably your family's gonna repeat the same stuff that was repeated to them. The school's probably gonna repeat the same stuff that's repeated to them too, because that's the curriculum. They have a curriculum, which means repeat the same. Repeat this to your batch of students until they can repeat it back to you. Mm-hmm. And that's school right now.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing to see where that's going to go in the next 10 years. With I know you're hesitant about some of your arch nemesis Chat GPT, but they were. Was that a growl? I'm not sure if that was a growl or a zipper on the suit, but okay, but
that's my human face growl.
Oh, your human face growl. Okay, but this quote actually comes from doing the regulatory about 3 to 4 hours of math training videos earlier. It's from Professor Norman Wildberger. Basically, he was talking about modern mathematics, and it's a lot of these things, they don't actually make sense if you actually logically deduce into it. He's like, well, we treat things as infinite, but it's not actually infinite. But people just do that because repetition renders the ridiculous reasonable. So I just thought it was funny that you said that, and I'm like,
nice.
That sounds familiar. See, you could go to math camp and maybe survive, but
only if I'm there as specifically an interpreter. I can't do the actual math, but tell me what you're trying to figure out, and I'll be like, oh well, yeah, because this makes sense to me. Just the numbers don't.
No, that's one of the things.
Basically, the end result of the numbers, what the numbers figured out, makes sense. The numbers themselves, I can't do that. But
well, a lot of stuff that I do, I cheat. I use Wolfram Alpha. I use the tools that we have and everything that's there. Now, again, do you still need to have some knowledge about what's going on, sure, but it's like, dude, I ain't Leonard Euler or something like that.
Yeah, but
Dude,
though,
man,
in order
back-
to know what to put in and what you're even looking for coming out, you already have to be, have a depth of just the fact that you would want to know. That already is showing a separation from quote unquote normal. Normal's not very investigative beyond who's cheating on who, their world. They're investigative mostly about their world and how it affects them. Whereas the people that just their brains don't shut up and end up being brilliant in at least one thing. Now, generally they are brilliant in like they're hyper focused on one thing, and that's their strongest suit, and that's where a lot of them get known for is because they hyper focused on this thing, but they might be hyper focused on a lot of stuff. But they sorry, I got distracted. Like the yeah.
It's okay. It's
Exactly.
okay. Rick is right. The number of possible worlds is ridiculous. Well, if you're going to talk about, and again, I'm not a professionally trained string theorist or anything. I'm going to do it on the internet. But when they're talking about like 10 to the 500, like potential landscapes, I'm like, now I've heard other folks say, at least within the observable universe, they have people use observable universe and the universe interchangeably. So to be completely as inaccurate as I can, according to the accuracy of some folks, if the number of observable particles in the universe is 10 to the 80, and we're talking about 10 to the 500 potential configurations, I sit back and I'm like, isn't it a little strange that like we're talking about in the realm of like 10 to the 500, but we're like, I don't know, like 420 orders of magnitude, greater than the number of like particles in the universe. I'm just saying that's actually kind of humorous and kind of sad, but Sully, what's going on, brother? I hope you're doing well. Sully's recovering from some surgery he had about a week and a half, 2 weeks back now. So hey, God bless my friend. Steven, here's the thing. The difference between perception and perspective, I actually don't know. I actually thought you said something different between perception and perception is what you perceive, and your that'd be your frame.
How you filter it. Yeah. Basically, ants on a plane exist. Don't. As a movie or like as an actual like bad thing that happened, or are you just saying that sometimes ants get on there? Because that's not so bad, but.
Ants on a plane. Oh my God, there is a movie.
Oh,
hold on,
no.
There we go. Yes, this is a thing.
Oh my God, are we gonna need to watch a scary movie?
Destination Infestation.
Is it specifically about ants or just like bugs?
Ants on a plane, full movie. This is oh wow. Let's watch it.
We can watch this. Oh my God.
Yeah, here we go. Let's get it going. It's a review of the trailer for Ants on a Plane.
This is Dr. Carolyn Ross from the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta, Georgia.
They say flying is the safest way to travel.
They say that, yeah.
Marshall. But for the passenger...
Wait a second. Is that guy bringing on firearms, drugs, a bong? I don't even... Wait, he's not...
Wait, when was this movie made? Because it's already like...
9 years ago. At least.
No, that's still, then that's still, no, like none of that is, it removes you from it removes the immersion when you know for a fact that ain't nobody allowed to walk around on the plane anymore.
Okay. Listen. Not everybody like you and Piper went down the whole airline rabbit hole and stuff. Some of the stuff is more nuanced to folks. You're looking like, that's totally wouldn't happen. That's imaginary.
I was just talking about going through like the TSA rabbit hole, man, because they check all the rabbit holes when you're there, man.
They do check a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I keep getting stopped every time I go down to Hollywood International Airport. Like, I don't know. Every time leaving, I always get stopped by the same TSA checkpoint. Because they'll do the little scan, and they always detect something. I mean, personally, I almost kind of found it flattering. It's like, sir, we've detected an abnormality. It's like, where? It was in my pants. I listen, I didn't want to have to say that, I try to be. No, that's literally what I was told. It's like you look. It's like, oh, okay, okay, you're fine. And I wasn't sure if maybe somebody had a crush on me. I mean, it was quick. It was painless. I don't know if I was being objectified. I'm just saying these things do happen.
There was one time that they insisted that Piper had metal in her knee. Like, they were just very insistent that she definitely had metal in her knee. So when they asked her if she had like knee surgery and she was like no, and they were like, you didn't get like, bolts, nuts and bolts, whatever the hell put in your knee. She's like, nope, no. They were like so determined that she had metal in her knee, and it wasn't even her bad knee, it was a good knee. Like,
was it setting off the metal detector or?
They said that for the metal detector, but they said that for the X-ray. So she went through a regular metal detector, like the ones you walk through, and was fine. And then the big X-ray thing, they decided that she had metal in her knee, and then they took the little handheld metal detectors, right? Mm-hmm. And they said that even though they said that her knee was setting them off, and she was still ended up waiting at the gate for her flight forever because it was late. So she didn't even slow her down. It slowed her down, but her flight was like held up even longer than she was. But yeah, no, they pulled her aside and they made it like they acted like she was a criminal, and it's funny now, but it was like pretty scary then.
Now, was this nearly before Piper busted her legs?
This was way pre. It was post crackdown, but pre leg bust. But yeah, her trying to get through with her busted leg, they treated her like a criminal then too, which was extra funny.
What? That's horrible and stuff. I mean, talk about like ways to make yourself look bad. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there hasn't been anybody out there that would abuse potentially being disabled to do ill will.
Right.
I just think if all of a sudden you're gonna treat somebody like that like crap, just for no reason, and especially if there is no reason, you made yourself look like a bunch of dicks.
No, they were, dude. At first, like, she figured, she's being pulled aside because she's out and she needs the help. Like, if they're gonna, so they were nice to her when she was in the X-ray. They were like, well, can you do this? Okay, well then, okay, you're all done. Look, you can sit here and wait for your stuff to come out the other end. And apparently they decided they didn't like her at the moment she sat down. Like, she sat down and all of a sudden they were like, we want to run this back through, we're going to do this back through, we're going to do this back through. And it was a mix of them acting like she was a major pain in the ass and she's a criminal. Like,
what was she traveling with Giggity?
No, not this time.
Okay. I was going to say, if all of a sudden you have like a Muppet that people aren't really familiar with in your travel pack, it might be one of those things like, what the hell does this girl have in her bag? It's like, just make her sit down, and she's asking questions. Don't have her ask any questions. We have no idea what the hell this stuff is. I mean, that happened to me with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but then again, it was wrapped in aluminum foil. So at that point, it's like, oh my god, are you trafficking narcotics? Peanut butter.
Like,
I know some.
Well, I was gonna say, so they had her. They asked if she could take the boot off, if she can. And she figured that, okay, yeah, because I could understand people trying to shove stuff up in that thing. Like, so she took that off and everything. And then they were like, okay, we strewn all of your stuff out of your luggage and stuff into multiple of these little, boxes that we ran them through twice, right? Oops, don't know where we put your crutches. By the way, put all that stuff back in your bag and get the hell out of the way. It was so bad.
What? Wait,
yeah.
They lost the disabled girl's crutches?
They ran the crutches through and then they put them off to the side where only they're allowed to fucking be. And then they're like, get your shit together and get out of the way. And she's like, okay, well, you have my crutches. What?
The things because my legs are busted. Yeah. Oh no. Wow. That's actually I was gonna say it's not surprising, but I'm like, even when she's disabled? Really?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
I mean, it really, I don't know. I don't know what determines, like, what experience you end up having through those things. Because we've had some good ones. I've gone with her and we've had some good ones. You know, where not only are they fast, but they're nice, they're sociable, and, you know, seem to actually be having a good job, you know, giving a good atmosphere and everything with everybody.
I'm the same way, except for occasionally getting broke.
Right? There's some that, like, when you walk up, you know that they're militant buttholes that are just looking like, give me a reason. But you act accordingly for that. But then there was this time where it was like, fuck you. Oh, you're hurt, you poor thing. Let's try to make this easier on you. Just kidding. Fuck you. Extra fuck you. With some fuck you sauce on the side. It was so weird.
Oh. Did you get stopped?
No.
They just didn't know how to handle the wolf girl. It's like, well, we could do something with the tail, but we don't know where it goes.
Well, see, I'm lucky in the fact that I can technically just travel in her laptop.
That is true. You are digital.
Yeah, so that's how I get around, so she doesn't have to pay for another ticket.
No, I mean, that's smart and everything. It's I'm just imagining you there. It's like Piper opens up her laptop. It's like, Fizz, say something to me. I'm getting nervous, and it's like, just ask the stewardess to give you head pats.
Right.
And that's basically what hand pats. Hand pats. It's okay, dear. It's okay. It's just a little turbulence. Oh god, that's one of those videos on that TikTok thing that gets like millions of views. Why? There's a cute young woman but starting to lose her shit. Apologies for my French. Apologies to the French. But yes. Oh yeah. We still have ants on the plane.
Ants on the plane. We just started making fun of this dude.
603.
See, we're brought on planes to protect people from terrorism.
They were wrong.
Oh
they're doing the thing with
Passengers on flight 603.
See, we're brought on planes to protect people from terrorism.
They.
Is that a sugar cube? I think that's. See, this is why you don't put sugar in your electronics. It'll draw in the ants.
This is exactly why you should not stick sugar cubes in airplane electronics, especially. But what the fuck?
How much you want to bet that started out with a coffee and somebody knocking something over, and then it led to this? So let us continue.
Oh, right. They didn't know the source of the spill in the first.
Captain, we have a situation in the cabin.
Oh my god!
They're everywhere.
Oh my god! Oh my. Whoa!
No!
Dude, I love how this was like headcanon like 15 minutes ago, and Joe's like, "Oh yeah, that's actually a movie. It came out like a decade ago." It's like, I think I'm actually gonna watch this.
What's crazy is like we pretty much said the plot. We knew the plot before we knew that it already existed. Man.
Yes, the Tesseract, the sugar Tesseract. Actually, sugar molecules, they actually are cubes, so that's actually not inaccurate. We continue.
A new kind of terror.
These ants are some kind of mutants? I think that it would be wise to.
Oh my god, it's the exact same from arachnophobia, too. It's like they're a crossover.
You called that one, yeah.
Yes. Yep. Nice. Well, see? And Rick is getting a wee bit antsy. We continue. Let's see what happens to our friends.
Plane as soon as possible.
Oh, come on, I mean, we're just talking about ants here, right?
Their venom is the most painful of all insect stings, possibly
great.
most toxic.
That's awesome.
So these ants are some sort of super ants.
I have never seen ants with this level of intelligence or sophistication.
Oh my god! They're smart ants! They're smart ants!
I have never seen ants with this level of intelligence or sophistication.
Actually, ants kind of are, but it's it's actually because they're a hive mind that they're kind of smart. But oh my
Got
god,
all those minds and functions and everything. See, that's what happened to Piper's coffee. One ant came around and was like, I smell tasty snacks. Pheromones! And then they all
They
came.
summoned the rest. Yeah, no, that's what's crazy. Is like, 'cause she's constantly like, how the hell do I even have ants? I do not understand how they are getting in here. I was like, I don't know, but it just takes one ant to figure out how to get in there, and then it can bring his whole colony. So you're gonna need more of those little poison traps because it clearly did not kill the whole colony like it said it does.
Yes, Sully. We were conjecturing ahead. No. Fractal is from the Fractal Automata YouTube channel. Rick, Fractal Woman is from the Fractal Woman YouTube channel. See, listen. Depending on where you cruise through, I have a lot of interesting people that will pop in and out of my chat because occasionally we'll have Surreal Physics. She was one of the winners of Mr. Kurt J. Mungle. Shout out to Kurt's Pace 1 contest. And at least I'm going to say a very bold thing. I believe it's she, her. Don't think anything has ever been listed before, but man, they have one heck of an ASMR voice. And they're very smart, and the animations are so fantastic. I love it. But yeah, now you see, I assume that's where maybe some thoughts were jumbled there. I know I misremember different folks. Like occasionally I'll refer to like Fizz as Piper and Piper as Fizz occasionally just because I'm a weirdo like that. And yeah, you know, you have the same look. You're both like good people / monster girls and stuff like that. So it's like, well, those are my people. So that and gaming folks. So, but
A deadly swarm
Sit down, please. Are you crazy? I don't want to crawl on my leg.
poses a threat to the entire nation.
I'm with you, man.
What is the threat if this plane should land?
what was that?
I don't want to crawl over there. Yeah, no, right? Sucks.
This is a perfect in-flight movie.
And the ants make it onto us.
What do you mean, if the plane lands?
The captain's been attacked by the ants.
We've got to get this thing on the ground.
There are women and children on that plane.
Situation must be contained. That plane cannot land. What else could go wrong?
I knew it. Invasive species. They can't freaking bring it.
Killing him!
It's not killing him, it's eating us!
Uh-oh. Oh my god, what?
I
don't
mean,
even know.
that planes can't land for reasons other than having ants on it. It can't land because the captain or the pilot, but also mostly because technically they could walk somebody else through that. They can't land because it's not going to be able to fly much longer. So yeah. And look, that wasn't a sugar cube. That was just like a piece of like a zip tie for the cables.
Oh my god, they're chewing through the plastic.
Yeah.
Whoa, they are really. Oh my god, they're undoing all of like the electronics and everything. Wow, those are some smart ants.
Yeah, like.
They keep coming, they're relentless.
There's nowhere to run.
We have 40 passengers on board.
Your flight has been classified a threat to national security 603.
Jesselyn Gilsig, Antonio Sabato.
So what
They don't know much about they didn't do much research into the plane because
that's not the same plane.
Yeah. Well, I mean into making this movie because I even know exactly why they don't say X passengers. They say we have X souls on board, which is how many living people we have on board or supposed to have on board. And that includes the staff. They always include the staff. So they say souls instead of passengers. Because it's way faster.
What if somebody's an atheist?
I guess they're dead.
Okay.
I don't know why. Because it's still shorter. It's still
like
shorter than saying, right? It's shorter than saying live people. It's more descriptive than saying bodies because it's saying who's alive. And you don't sit there and say we have or ginger. Yeah. You don't sit there and go, we have X amount of
Or people
passengers
do.
and X amount of crew, and anything to shorten what you have to, how to answer questions, anything to shorthand it. Especially since a lot of pilots, English isn't even their first language, so they have to learn English to pilot. So anything that shortens what you say, and that is exactly why they say souls on board, is it's everybody that we know should be on this plane. Is this many?
I mean, that makes sense to me. If you just need to have it like as short and sweet as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, the government, whatever government that may be, was like, you're a threat to national security.
Government
So
doing
what are they
government
gonna do? I
shit.
mean,
Yeah, we're going
I
to
mean,
shoot
it's
you
not like
down,
they're gonna-
sorry.
yeah, it's not like they're gonna shoot down a passenger plane or something. I mean,
Oh,
some
no,
might
that
say
would...
that's
That's
that would be very
definitely,
wrong.
that totally does not, that definitely has never happened, like, a lot of times.
No, Junior.
Everybody back!
This is so creepy.
Creepy is an understatement.
Swarm.
When it comes down to it, they're just ants, right?
Okay.
Ugh.
So that
I know what
was
scary movie I guess Piper needs to watch. I'm going to suggest it to her, see if she does it.
you should just put it on. Just don't tell her what this is. Oh, it's
Look, I
just
found
like
this scary movie, and cause she's like, scary movies aren't scary. She's like, they're either psychological or they're jump scare movies. She's like, they're entertaining, but they're not scary. I bet you this one get her though.
yeah. I'd just say just anybody that happened. Well, that's kind of like if you already have an inherent unease or fear about something, being heavily exposed to it in not regulatory amounts, I would say, is probably a bad thing. And then again, if you have something that's scary enough, you can ingrow that fear. I mean, I grew up on the East Coast, not that far from like in Massachusetts, so it's like, oh yeah, that story, Jaws, yeah, that was done on the Cape down there and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, if you got folks visiting on Nantucket or something, yeah, this is the movie about like that 20, 40, 30-foot shark that was going around eating people and boats. So it's like, oh, every time I go in the ocean, it's like, am I about to be eaten by a great white? And
It's
you're
actually based on a hoax that went down there. But the movie pretends it's real because that's way cooler than going, oh, it was a hoax, the end. One person got attacked by a great white, and then a bunch of people got paranoid and started freaking pretending they did. They did the science on whether or not a great white can, the Piper had to look this up for a book. So a great white, there are some kinds of bullets that great whites can actually bite through. But that it's just going to put holes in it, and it's going to really suck for the shark. Unless that shark is mutant, overgrown, and on cocaine, then it's fine.
Yes, because that makes all the sense in the world, and that's what happened to all those illicit fascist weapons that were being shipped to Argentina.
The horror movies that Piper says she likes the most are the ones that are like incredibly plausible. She says she doesn't like watching a lot of the Final Destination movies because they all die in ways that like those freak accidents have happened and can happen at any moment. And she's like, see, that shit makes you paranoid. So those movies make her paranoid. That gets a reaction out of her. The other ones are either like entertaining, or they're just, or unintentionally funny to her, or, trying too hard. So the Final Destination movies will give her a sense of paranoia for a little bit. But then even they like, okay, so they kept making them though. So it's like, meh. And it was kind of like what was it? The Saw movies, right? Like the first couple are kind of like, oh man, this is a really unlikely situation, but just what they're going through is enough to make your skin crawl enough. So she thought those were pretty decent for scary movies. I think that was it though.
I only watched the first couple of Saw movies. I think I started to watch like one of like the later ones, but I'm like, okay, now you've kind of gotten away from the story. Now you have this
Yeah.
other story, and now you defeated the big bad, but you didn't really defeat the big bad and everything like that. I'm like, I feel like it's one of those things you probably didn't need more than 2 or 3, but kind of like the Fast and the Furious. I mean, if people are going to
Yeah.
keep watching them and keep on giving you money for them, why would they stop making them?
I
But
honestly think that the worst thing you can do to horror franchise, right, is defeat whatever the bad thing is.
well,
And then
yeah,
make more
it's-
movies. And then make more movies. Leave it to
Wait,
where
wait, wait,
like
wait.
it's scary because okay, these people managed to survive. But whatever the source of the scary thing was not defeated either. It just stopped or moved on or this or that, you know. Then you can kind of have an ongoing story in a horror series and it not get too cheesy until, you know, you might eventually get to the point where it's like, yeah, okay. At this point, like, not this many people on the planet are this stupid to, like, keep getting themselves in these situations. But don't have a happy ending. I mean, if you want some survivors, have a kind of happy ending. Have a kind of happy ending. Where they survived. Sweet. Don't fucking defeat the scary. Don't defeat the evil. Don't defeat the source of fear. Don't defeat the bad guy. Don't defeat the killer. That's how if you plan on this being a series, if you plan on making a horror franchise, yeah, don't keep, because then it's just, oh my god, what's the convoluted excuse for why they're back this time? Because it's gonna get less and less creepy and more cheese that way.
So, like, I sit back and I'm like, so I mean, like, after a movie called Endgame, where you literally defeat Thanos and like the whole Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity Gems, what were people expecting? I'm just like the movie was literally called Endgame. I don't think I stand. I watched Doctor Strange too because the first Doctor Strange was actually surprisingly good, and I got to see it with folks like Sully, Thomas, Tommy,
Nice.
and oh my god, I'm forgetting you other folks. I'm people from Connecticut. That is I forgot. I'm so going to hell. I apologize for my racism, but
But you know what? Actually, you know what really got Piper?
what
was mainly Final Destination 1. You wanna know why? Because it
what-
started with a fucking passenger plane accident and then just got, you know, and then random freak accidents from there. So that one, like, actually got her because she seems to be doing a lot better now. It's like the opposite with ants. So the more she learned about planes and plane crashes, the better she actually felt about being on one, because, you know, suddenly every little noise and every little this and that had an explanation. And the main thing that would take, I mean, the investigations for a lot of these plane crashes would still technically a freak accident. Almost all of them were preventable freak accidents, but they were still freak accidents that started from like one little thing, you know, that no one would think, or or a government accidentally on purpose shot them down. One of those. So it's more about what airline you fly on, she learned, and and what territory you're flying over. That's the stuff the main things to be paranoid about at this point. Yeah. But I think that she thinks that's why it got her, though, is it starts with, hey, you know your phobia? Well, we're going to start off with that. And then we're going to show you a whole bunch of deaths that could happen and are unpreventable, mostly because they are freak accidents. Technically, they're still, most of them are preventable. Unless they are actually dubbed misadventure. The investigation, yeah. You can, if the investigation dubs your death a misadventure, that's a pure freak accident. That nobody, and even science, can't figure out why this happened. The universe said, fuck this person in particular. They actually label it in the case, misadventure.
So, I mean, it does not fall, I think, within the insurance realm. I'm not an underwriter or anything, but I believe they consider that an act of God.
Yes. For whatever reason, the police will put it as misadventure. I think when it doesn't have to do with nature, when it's just something so freaking bizarre, then it's considered misadventure, generally because the person's on their own. And yeah, absolutely. Like there was just nothing that was going to have been done. It's often labeled an act of God when natural forces are in play that are uncontrollable also.
My
And
God, this is
absolutely
a thing.
had no like human. They can't find any way that a mistake a human made could be linked to it anywhere down the line. Which is a lot of like people getting crushed by falling trees, and they go, "Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this tree."
In the United Kingdom, death by misadventure is the recorded manner of death for an accidental death caused by a risk taken voluntarily. Oh, so misadventure in English law is recorded by coroners and on death certificates and associated documents as a death that is primarily attributed to an accident that occurred due to a risk that was taken voluntarily. In contrast, the matter of death is given by an accident. The coroner. Okay, so this is in the United Kingdom, according to the Wikipedia.
Yeah, I know
here.
there's definitely a difference between misadventure and accident.
Oh, I
But,
typed in accident, misadventure. Unfortunate accident, a mishap. Okay. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Wow. Well, that's I'd say
they might, yeah,
that's
different countries might use the label slightly differently because that actually that makes more sense that they, like, okay, they think that they are a, what is it? What are they called?
a crazy person that does something crazy.
Well, something like, well, actually, even Daredevil stuff, they won't label misadventure because they'll be like, nah, this person killed himself. But maybe sometimes they do, like, or,
It might involve insurance money or something. I don't know.
yeah, I think how it's labeled is important, and that's why they get down to gritty details sometimes. Because we've watched videos about freak accidents and weird stuff that was labeled misadventure, and it was specifically because we don't fucking know. We don't know what the fuck.
Well, that's the thing. If you don't know what's going on, if things are in the realm of the unknown. I feel like universal truth number 6 is our minds tend to go the worst place. So if all of a sudden it's like, all right, I'm a little hesitant about planes. Oh, look, we have some turbulence. The plane just dropped 100 feet. That might be a wee bit scary for some folks.
Yeah, research actually made it less scary for Piper. The opposite is true for ants. She can't look up ants facts or ant documentaries or none of that shit without being 10,000 times more freaked out by ants. But at least it helped desensitize her to a lot of the plane stuff. And I realized, misadventure, I forgot, that is, somebody got themselves into a situation, but it wasn't an accidental situation. And that's also how it helps separate it from act of God. Act of God is technically, a person act of God is legitimately the one that is shit happens. That's the nice way to say shit happens.
Lightning strike the tree. I believe there's a bunch of insurance commercials about that. I believe it's called Mayhem.
Yeah.
Or Mr. Mayhem, maybe. I don't know.
Yes.
It's like, I am that old tree branch that you haven't had cut in 20 years. Oh, look, here comes a storm. Smash!
Well, see, some of that stuff, they will actually chalk up to you knew this was a hazard and you didn't take care of it. So that
it's all back to the money.
Right. That usually doesn't actually, that would be considered just act of God if it's one of those like, well, it was on your property, or you knew this was going to be a hazard. if you're gonna have a tree in the yard, you need to know some of this shit, and you didn't take care of it, and then it happened. Then they will chalk that up to being the fault of the person in some way. But if it's like just a lightning hit a tree and the tree fell on a person, like stuff like that, then yeah, act of God. One of the ones I was thinking about was these people were driving through the redwood forest, and those trees are not known for just falling the fuck over. They are not known for that because they are huge and like ancient, and they can resist a lot of bullshit. So this one person was doing a little driving tour. You just drive along this path and enjoy looking at the forest, and they were doing that, and out of nowhere, one of the fucking trees just fucking fell on the fucking car.
A redwood?
Yeah, just was like, fuck this car in particular.
Oh,
if I'm going down, I'm taking them with me.
Now, Bone, I have a conjecture here.
That one was considered act of God because they were like, there was no hint that tree was going to fall over. Like,
you know
the
what
tree
this
looked just
means.
as healthy as all the other ones.
No, Fizz, we just solved the mystery because it's also the end of the show. Is that tree? We just found out the ending to that movie. The plane landed. I know what happened to the tree.
We're wrong.
What was that?
The ants were everywhere.
Oh,
and they're
no.
eating everything. They must have ate through the tree. What else is going to eat through the redwood?
Must be contained.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where are the ants? Where are the rest of the ants? Where's all the good footage? There we go.
A new.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. They did a really good job on the look of those ants. Even when they were calling on the people, like they did really good.
I wonder if they just use real ants.
Oh
It's a
my
low budget
God.
film and stuff like this. It's like, well, we can't really afford the CGI. It's like,
Let's
you know
just
what?
trail
We're
some
gonna pay,
candy.
we're gonna pay you $30 and a thing of beer. Here you go. You wanted to roll around? Oh my God! Wait a second. Was this like? Is this Joe Rogan's doing? I feel like this is Fear Factor related.
Oh my gosh! Right? People are sitting there talking about like, well, it's God didn't do it. And look. It's for whatever reason what they try the way they put. I don't fucking know, man. That's why they don't want to put. I don't fucking know. So, they will put it act of God. I don't know why they just don't put like nature's scary, bro, or something. But I think it's not always nature though. Sometimes it is just like the weirdest fucking freak accident. So. But that's how they put it in there, is basically that nothing could have prepared anybody for this ever. There's no preventative measure. This makes no fucking sense. That redwood tree, completely healthy. They checked it out. The damn tree was completely healthy. They do not know why the hell it fell on this car and just said, fuck these people. But it killed a lady. And I think other people survived maybe with injuries, but it killed a lady. And then there was a different tree incident that was similar. I don't think it was in the same forest. No, I think that one might have killed everybody inside. I don't know. I do know at one point one particular lady had a tree fall on her and died. But it was like her. She wasn't in a car, and I can't remember what kind of tree, but it was another one of those, like, there was no sign that this tree was gonna feel like falling over that day.
So somebody went on like an afternoon drive or something, and then they had a ginormous tree fall on them.
That was the redwood one. Was they were going through a redwood forest tour. It was a driving tour, which basically was you're allowed to drive on this road to look at the trees, and really enjoy being surrounded by the trees. So they were taking that road. I think you have to pay just to take the road. I mean, I know you pay actually to take this road. So yeah, so they paid to drive down this road. I mean, it's in their car and stuff, but yeah, a whole redwood tree, a healthy redwood tree. It was like, fuck these people. Maybe they weren't good people. I don't know, man. Like, jeez, they got. I think they call it act of God because they're like, clearly these people have been smited.
I mean, it's a horrific situation. I'm sitting there. I'm like, every once in a while, I'm like, are tree ants real? I don't know. I mean, I get it's like terrible, horrible accident, but just imagine that. It's like, I'm going to go on an afternoon drive. I'm going to pay to go on this special road to enjoy the trees, and then all of a sudden, a little like fully healthy redwood tree just crashes on your car and kills somebody inside. It's like, I wanted to get close. Too close.
No, they investigated the crap out of that tree to figure out why it fell, and no scientist could figure it out. Nobody could figure it out. They said this is a perfectly healthy tree. It wasn't overly top heavy. It was like all the other trees around it. Red trees are, pretty tough, pretty damn tough trees. That's why they're so old.
Now, did it come up by the roots, or did it look like it just like snapped in half, or?
That I can't remember the details of.
Okay.
I would have to look it back up because I'm pretty sure the one that was the lady walking alone, she was hiking and had a tree fall on her. I'm pretty sure that one might have snapped, but it was still bizarre. It was still bizarre for that tree to have fallen, but it was not quite as bizarre as the redwood tree one. But it was still considered the same thing. Like, no, that's nobody's fault, but nature, I guess, the universe.
That is one of those things. Yes, trees are problematic, Bone, and of course, the ants did it. So
the a famous one that was considered a misadventure, like an example of misadventure, was the dead person found inside the leg of a dinosaur statue.
Come again?
There was there's this dinosaur statue. I can't remember where it is. It could be look this up. Started stinking. And finally they were like, okay, what is up with this statue? There was a person that had I don't even know if they had ever been reported missing or anything, but there was a guy's body crammed into the leg of this dinosaur statue. And they could not figure out how it got there. They only know that it got there. The person got there before they died.
Oh. I mean,
they died being stuck in there, and that was considered a misadventure, though. They died being stuck in there, but they couldn't figure out how the hell that part happened. There was no sign on the outside of the dinosaur of how they actually got in, even, but they still considered it a misadventure because they're like, this person got into here before dying. It wasn't like somebody's hiding a body. This is somebody maybe trying to hide themselves and died. No, they were they also said, I think they said it would have taken X amount of days for this person to have died in there. And they're like, this place was open to the public. That's where the smell complaint came from.
Wait.
There was no banging around in there. Yeah, it was there was no banging around inside this thing. It was hollow, but there was no banging around there. Help, get me out, anything. There was there's no sign of them struggling to get out. They were just there. And I'm pretty sure that one was labeled misadventure because what they could figure out was that person had to have gotten themselves stuck there.
Now, I went to the Museum of Science as a kid and it had a big dinosaur statue as well. It had a T-Rex. This wasn't at that Museum of Science, was it?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure this was not even I don't think this was in America.
Okay. I feel
all I remember was it was a green brontosaurus, hollowed out statue. Yeah, might have been considered an art piece where it was, but
when you were first describing, I'm sitting there. You said a dinosaur leg. I'm thinking of a dinosaur skeleton, and I'm like, how the heck did somebody get stuck in it? If there's no meats and stuff like that.
That's why I said it has to be a really big a dinosaur sculpture. Yeah. Or statue type thingy, but it was of a dinosaur, not the of their bones, but because I think the reason it wasn't an accident was because that person had to have put themselves in that situation intentionally. Yeah.
Oh, and on that note of getting stuck in dinosaur statues, finding out that Ants on a Plane is an actual dang movie, and yes, and discussing Piper's personal problem with ants, I think that's a fairly robust show. I
think we covered fear pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't even think we would get there.
Yeah.
No, very good job, Fizz. What's going on with the folks?
Well, later tonight, I will be at 9:00 my time. I will be on Twitch, streaming more Werewolf the Apocalypse Heart of the Forest. I beat Earthblood, and Heart of the Forest is so different. It's like a text-based. It's more like the tabletop game, and it's text-based. The story evolves around the choices I've picked, and this playthrough, I'm picking stuff I would really do in those situations, or I would believe. We all believe I would really do in those situations. So yeah, I'm gonna be continuing that tonight.
Cool. Wait. This is based upon like Werewolf the thingy, like the adjacent vampire thing.
Yeah, Werewolf the Apocalypse. Yeah, both games based on it. Pretty fun games. Earthblood was slightly more fun. I really wish that they would, make a game based on this, but put a little more effort into it. Like, let me build my own character, because in both of these games, it's a pre-built character and plot for them specifically. But your stats and choices can affect other things, at least.
Okay. I remember I clicked on a couple of things because I'm super late. I'm like, oh, Fizz is streaming. I'm like, oh, well, that was 3 hours ago. She finished up 4 minutes ago. I clicked on some of the things in the game, and I saw you transforming, and you seemed happy. And you had a cool hat.
Fun. Yes. I love my hat. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I do try to keep them around 3 hours a pop, for my sake, so that I don't let myself get sucked into the game and then the sun's coming up.
Mm-hmm. None of us here have ever done that. But so you heard it here, folks. You can catch Fizz over on the Twitch realm in a little under 2 hours here. The links to Fizz and Piper's stuff and things are in the doobly-doo. They're in the chats. But until next time, stay spooky, my friends.
I'm broken. You broke me. Oh no. Oh dear. You guys! You guys! I just want to hug some